Today I have a picture in my head of the painting that I want to do. So let's jump straight into it and let's see what we can do. So I'm just going to add the water to the scene, and I have just dipped into some cobalt blue. Oh no, it's actually a cerulean blue. And I just want a nice light mix. And I'm just trying to paint what's in my head today. So hopefully I do a good job and I do get what's in my head. So just a little bit more of that blue tone, and I did mix it with, it's just a dirty mix on my palette, which is all good. I don't want anything too clean. So let's just have that. Maybe a little bit of Payne's grey just on the top of this, and I can have little bits of light coming through. That's gonna add to the scene, so quite mysterious looking, and that's all part of the painting which is in my head. You may be able to see there's a few little hairs from probably the cats, but that's just what happens when you do have animals in the house. So just a few little colours popping, not after anything spectacular. It really is a simple scene. I'm trying to show you if it comes out the way I want to anyway. So let's just... So there's my first wash, and I'm happy to leave that to dry, and I'll make decisions once that's dry as to what to do next, but yeah, just let it dry. So in order to make this a little bit more interesting, I've tilted my board just at a slight angle, so I'll let the pigment come down sort of at an angle. I'll just show you the palette, and you can see I've mixed quite a bit of this colour using mostly the blue and Payne's grey. So I'm just going to add some of this to the foreground of this painting, and this is quite a light mix, lighter than what I would normally go for in a painting, but you'll see why as I progress. So it is nice and light. I will go over and add some darker tones to this once I've got it in and it's dry. Nice and loose, keeping the paint flowing. And so while I've got this mix down, I want to add some trees. These are in the distance. It's a very light mix. Just using the liner brush to get those nice branches. I think when you're painting trees, you've got to think like a tree. Just going any which way, not after perfection or anything like that. And I do want to pop another tree in this area, but it's quite wet, so I'll leave that to dry a little bit. Let's just soften the edges just a little bit, so it creates that bit of foliage in the misty sort of landscape. So it just helps to soften these trees. They are in a bit of a distance and it's quite atmospheric. And I want a little bit of more of a dominant tree on this side. So again, just adding some clean water and just letting that all sort of melt into the background. I do really enjoy using the liner brush. Usually when I get it in my hand, it's hard to sort of let it go. But back to the hair brush now, just to get a nice bit of yellow ochre, just a bit of warmth in the sky. And then just softening and spreading the paint as I go. I'd love to know what inspires you, what sort of paintings you like to do. Like I said, this one is a made-up scene. I've been listening quite heavily to Pink Floyd, and so that might come out. I don't know, but yeah, just and one of my comments just recently described my painting as ethereal. I don't know whether that's pronounced right, but that's something that I aim for in all of my paintings. Just a little bit of almost dreamy-like quality to my paintings. And when I started this one, I just wanted to get that feeling and get some nice contrasting details. So I've popped the trees in really lightly so that they are in the background, and then I'm just getting some darker tones now in the foreground, so that I can have that contrast. And I'm just popping in various different colours now. You may see I've popped in a little bit of, I think it's alizarin crimson, into the mix. I've got a little bit of purple coming through, and I think that will offer something quite nice once I start scraping out some rocks. But I'm just having this wet in wet, letting the colours mix together and blend. It's something that I do like to do. It just gives that natural sort of colour change, a like shift in the colours. And then just popping in a little bit of yellow ochre onto these rocks. And you'll see that it does make sense. Once I start scraping out some rocks, I'm hoping to get something quite interesting. So I couldn't find, this is a lesson learned, I couldn't find my scraper in time, and sort of in my panic I just grabbed some tweezers and now just using my thumbnail, but I'm not quite happy with the way they're scraping, so I did actually get up and find my scraper tool, just a little bit of card, a credit card, old credit card that I've chopped up. And then just picking out some small details within the rocks, just to add a little bit of Payne's grey and darker mix, just to give those highlights a little bit of pop. And I think this is looking quite quite interesting. It's almost a semi abstract sort of looking, but I do like the rocks and the way things are looking, with just a little touch of clear separation on the rocks and dark, just little bits of dark tone here and there, just picking out little areas that I can work on just to give that nice little pop. You may notice I'm not that fast at painting, so I have sped up the video just a little bit here and there, just to keep your interest, I suppose. You know, this is probably the longest time it took to paint the rocky area, so I don't want to bore you too much with that. And now just using a fine liner pen, just a bit of ink, just to make a few clear marks and get some of those nice tones coming through the scene. And of course I wanted an interesting looking tree on this side, so again using the pen, it's still sped up, I'm not that fast, but just wanted something quite interesting, quite like an eerie tree, something just on that side to break up. All my details are on the left hand side, so I needed something to balance the scene out. And I'm hoping that I've caught the atmosphere. Let me know what you think in the comment section. And then I just wanted to pull down on some little bits of roots and sort of vines or whatever it may be coming down from the, I guess it could be a cliff top. So this is probably quite high up, quite a nice scene, and I wanted to capture some distance, and so I'm just grabbing a bit of a darker mix and putting a tree in front of those lighter trees so that it gives a little bit of distance and depth and just a bit of atmosphere. So I'm hoping that this painting is ethereal. The meaning, I did look at the meaning of ethereal, and it's almost like a scene or something of beauty, something could be dreamy like, and I often find that my paintings just end up going that way without sort of intention. I think maybe it's my style now, I'm not sure, but I'd love to know your thoughts. Let me know what you think of this painting. And I just wanted to include a few birds to this scene as well, just to give it a little bit of life. It's quite a rugged, almost eerie sort of scene, and so the birds are just giving it that bit of life and another point of interest in the scene. So I'm using a pen to do that, just easier to control, just drawing in the birds in ink, and I think it looks quite, I think it looks okay. And just removing the tape now to get that clean, crisp edge, crisp border. And you can see some of the paints come through the tape, and just leaked out a little bit there, but it's not, it doesn't spoil the image, it sort of adds something else to it. But I think that's pretty much it for this one. A few more birds I think on this side in the distance, so I'm just using a pen to create little smaller birds. So these are in the distance, and I'm using a smaller tip, so this is a 0.2 pen. But that's it for this one. I really do hope you find this one useful. Why not give it a go? If you want to paint something like this, just paint something that's in your head, and that's it. Thanks for watching.